this video, I'm going to show you how you can create motion graphics like Ali Abdaal in DaVinci Resolve. So let's begin. All right, so for this one, you need a background. And the background I have is this brown textured. You can go ahead and download any texture that you want to use as the background. Second thing you need is the image of a person. You can go ahead and download any image of a person, but make sure that it is PNG, it has no background. Now, right click over here and then select Create New Timeline. Unselect this Use Project Settings and then go over to Format and select this Use Vertical Resolution and hit Create. Now go ahead and drag in your Fusion composition and head over to it. Add in a background and then press this Merge node and connect it with the Media Out. Now go ahead and add in your image and connect it with the Merge one. Now, while you have your image selected, make sure you click on Transform and then go over to Transform in Size and change this to 3. Now you can position this here at the bottom and just slightly move it right here. Now let's go over to 20 frames and create a keyframe at center. Then go over at 0, create another keyframe, and the one at 20, just go ahead and change this to somewhere around 0.5 in the x-axis. So if you play this now, this is how it will look. But just go over to spline and select your transform. Click over here so that you see all your keyframes. Then select your keyframes and hit S on the keyboard. Now select the first keyframe and then slightly move this like this. And if you play this now, you will see we have a very nice looking animation. All right, now let's go ahead and add in our text. So go ahead and select your merge one, then select these merge nodes up till 6. So the reason why we are doing this is because we want to use these two merge nodes as the background for the text highlights. And then we're going to be using these two for the text themselves. So let's just remove this. All right, and now let's go ahead and drag in our text, connect it with the merge 4. Now let's go ahead, type in our text, and the font that I'm using is modern number 20. So let's move this right here and change the size to 0.03 and position this over here. Now go ahead and add in another text. And first of all, you can just copy this text 1 by pressing Ctrl C and then right click on text 2 and then hit on paste settings. Then go ahead and connect this to the merge 5 and then slightly move this down. And over here, you can type in another text. So this time, this is the text that I'm going to be using. And then go over here and change this to 0.25. All right, and we have our text done. Now let's go ahead and add in the highlights. So for the highlights, let's go ahead and add in this background and let's go ahead and add in this rectangle. Connect the rectangle with the background and then connect the background with the merge tool. Now let's change the color of the background. So over here, just simply change this to red to 1 and then change the green to somewhere around 0.7. Now select your rectangle 1 and then change the width and the height according to the shape or the size of your text. So over here, let's move this behind our text and then go ahead, change the height so that this fits in our text like this. Now, while you have your background tool selected, just press Ctrl space and search for displays and add in this fast noise and then connect the fast noise to the displays. And here you will see we get this textured kind of look. Now I'm just going to keep it like this. You can just go ahead and change the fast noise if you want to get a different kind of textured effect. All right, and let me just slightly move this down. And I'm going to do the same thing for the text too. So over here, let's move these down and then add in our background, then add in this rectangle, do the same thing, displays, and then we're also going to add in the fast noise. Connect this over here. And first of all, let's just go ahead and copy rectangle 1, paste it in rectangle 2 as paste settings. Go ahead, copy your background as well. And now let's connect this to merge 3. And you can now move this down and you will see we get the same kind of effect. Now for this one, I'm just going to slightly reduce the height and I'm also going to change the color for this. So let's just go with a green color. So our text is done. Now let's go ahead and animate this. So in order to animate our text, first of all, go over to text one, right click over here and then select follower. Now go over to modifiers and change the order to left to right and change the delay to 2. Now go over to transform and then over here you can click on size so you will see these two X and Y axes. Now over here at 20, let's say, create a keyframe at X and Y. And then also create a keyframe over here at the pivot. And you will see that this path 2 appears, but don't worry about this. Just double click back on follower 1 and you will see that we get our settings. Now go over at 0 and change the X and Y to 0 as well. And change the pivot to minus 0.2. So if you play this now, this is how it will look. Now let's do the same thing for the second text as well. So just go ahead over here, right click, follower, go over to modifiers, change this to 2, left to right, and then go over to transform. Do the same thing, but this time I'm just going to keep this at 40. So let's go over at 40, change this to keep this at 1 keyframes, and then at 20, let's change this to 0. And do the same thing for the pivot as well. So let's go over to the pivot. And over here at 20, I'm just going to change the y-axis to minus 0.1. So if we play this now, this is how it will look. And now let's go ahead and animate the highlight as well. So in order to do that, all you need to do is just drag in this rectangle and connect it with the merge tool. And this will act as the mask for the first highlight that we have. You can just go ahead and change the width like this and create a keyframe at, let's say, 30. And over here, I'm just going to create a keyframe at center. And then over here at 10, I'm going to move this all the way out. And if you play this, this is how it will look. And we're going to do the same thing for the text too. So add another rectangle, change the width, move this. Now let's go over at, let's say, 50, create a keyframe at center, and then let's go over at 30 and change this here. So, so once these are done, you can go over to spline. Make sure you uncheck the transform one that we have already done, and also uncheck the text one and text two. Now make sure we only have rectangle 3 and 4 selected, which were the masks for our highlights. And then select the keyframes over here and then hit S on the keyboard. And let's see how this looks. So here you have the animation almost done. But now for the final thing, what you can do is go over to the merge 5, which is the final merge that we have, and then select this transform. Now what we can do over here is that once the animation ends at 50 frames, just go ahead and create a keyframe at size and center. And let's go over at 60, then zoom this in slightly. So let's say 1.3 is enough. And let's change the x-axis as well as the y-axis, like this. And let's see how this looks. Awesome. So let's go over to spline, select your transform tool, and select the keyframes and hit S on the keyboard. And this will give you a more ease in. And now we can add in another text. So just a zoom in that shows another kind of text. I'm just going to randomly write this text, and I'm going to change the age anchor over here so that this is appearing from the left side. And you can go ahead and use any font. I'm going to be using this MV Bold and then change the line spacing so that this is quite close, and then also change the size to 0.1, let's say. And this looks okay. And now let's say over here at 60, let's start animating the text as well. So you can do the same thing like we did before. And this time I'm just going to keep the delay at 1, change this to left to right, and then do the same thing that we did before. Create keyframes over here, and then let's say at 70, we're going to do the same thing also at pivot. And over here, we also forgot the pivot. And let's change this to 0, and then this one to minus 0.1. So if you see this now, this is how it will look. But if you think that this is too slow, you can go back over here to modifiers in the timing, and then go ahead and change this delay type to between first and last character. So if you play this now, this is how it will look. And go back to the main timeline. So here you will see this is how it appears. Now just slightly move this up, and now you can bring in your background or your texture that you had. And one thing that you will notice is that this will not appear. And the reason is that you need to go back to the Fusion composition and go all the way to the background that was the first background that we added and change this alpha to 0. And now if you go back, you will see that we have the texture in the background. So if you play this now, here you will see we have our animation done. So this was it. This was the video. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.